Hello everyone, welcome back. Savage is here, coming back with a new part of What If Deku was Moth. Now, tell me down in the comments what do you think about this part and what will gonna happen in the next one, and let's just begin, shall we? And the next morning, Midoriya wakes up on the sound of his alarm clock. He presses on it and then he stands up. He yawns, stretches a little, and then looks out of the window to see, well, just a beautiful day outside, and a little flower pot he has by the side of his window. A butterfly flies and lands on it. As he jumps out of his bed with the liveliness and excitement of a toddler, he immediately comes out of his room after putting on something as he said, "Good morning, Mom." As he goes to the bathroom, and Inko watching him go, she couldn't even get the time to say good morning back, but eventually he comes out and goes sitting on the breakfast table as he starts just waiting for her to finish the breakfast. And well, Midoriya seems oddly happy today, though she isn't gonna start questioning it. If her son is happy, then that's good enough for her. No need to ruin his excitement. Eventually, he finishes his breakfast, he goes, puts on his school uniform, and, says goodbye after his mother gives him a little kiss. And so he leaves. He starts running down the streets. Cannot wait to go into UA like every day, even though he is just a general course student. Just the fact that he's a UA student is making him very excited. As he starts running down the streets, he runs by a few street lights. He goes by the park. As he looks down from this park, he sees a staircase that he slides on the rail of, and down he goes. As he slides down with style and finesse, which gives him a little rush of dopamine. Quite the fun thing to do. As he keeps going in on his way to reach UA, he runs past a giant villain. As he's fighting a few heroes, as Midoriya said, "That's a giant villain." And well, as much as he likes to go to UA, watching a villain fight against heroes, that's never gonna get old. As all of the people just watching this battle from a distance, Midoriya is one of them. But as he looks and watches, suddenly he sees the villain hitting a few rocks, as then a little girl was about to be crushed by one of these rocks. But all of a sudden, Midoriya's body moves on its own. He rushes in and jumps to protect the lady, the little girl, as immediately he grabs her and pushes her out of the way, and well, he managed to save her. But he, on the other hand, his leg got crushed under the rubble, as he yells in a bit of pain before the villain was gonna reach down to grab into Midoriya, but then, out of nowhere, somebody wearing a green suit and a white cape immediately jumps in and makes a barrier in front of Midoriya, as then followed by a group of people. A blue person who teleports the girl and Midoriya out of the way. Then a red one who immediately jumps in front of the giant villain and starts taking the hits for himself before sending them back with double the power, as blue start helping him win the fight, while the green one is creating a giant barrier around those two fighting the giant villain to keep everyone safe. And in the distance, a guy who seems to be wearing a yellow suit with a holographic screen in front of him, constantly rewinding and fast forwarding and, well, pausing. Not to mention recording this entire battle, as Midoriya is right now on the ground. A fifth member of this team reaches for him and gets closer, as he said, "Don't worry, I'll heal you." As the lady wearing a pink costume touches Midoriya's leg and it heals completely. Even his school uniform that ripped heals, as he's blushing a little while the lady said, "You jumped in to save this little girl? You're so brave, but try to stay safe now, will ya? As then immediately, the mother of this little girl finally finds her and she grabs her daughter, thanks Midoriya, and the lady wearing a pink suit and just gets out of the way. Eventually, the villain is comprehended, tied up, and captured. Thanks to Green creating a barrier around of him to take the shape of a rope. After all of that said, all 5 of them leave before any more heroes arrive. With that being said, Midoriya was excited. He said in his mind, "That was awesome, but who are these 5 people? I've never seen heroes like them." As he started, drawing and writing in his notebook as he continued his walk to UA, saying, "The green ones seem to have a weird protection ability. The pink one definitely can heal. Blue teleport, red seems to have a shock absorption, and the yellow is the oddest of them all. They seem to be more of a strategist than an actually fighter type. They're so awesome. These remind me of the golden age of heroes. Can't wait to see more about them today." And, well, after he finally reaches UA, he goes in, he enters, and he goes to class. Everything is so bright today. He's just happy. Regardless, he goes in, he has his little conversation with Shinso and the cafeteria. And, well, in the same cafeteria very much, they hear the sound of Principal Nezu speaking in the, mics. He calls on Midoriya, asking for Izuku Midoriya to come and, to the principal office. And so Midoriya does go to the principal office. He goes in and he enters. He sees Principal Nezu just sitting on his office. As Midoriya said, "Hey Principal Nezu, can I help you with anything?" As he said, "Yes, Izuku Midoriya. Please take a seat." As Izuku said, "Okay. I hope I haven't done anything wrong. Did I do anything wrong?" As he said, well, not really. You are a very well behaved child." As Midoriya said, I try to be." As he said, "Yeah, you try to be. Sadly, you failed miserably." As Midoriya said, "Huh?" But then, all of a sudden, Midoriya is immediately wrapped up in bandages and pushed with his head down into the floor by Eraserhead out of nowhere. As Midoriya said, "What the?" As Eraserhead immediately hits him on the back of the head, knocking him out immediately. As Eraserhead said, Are we sure about this?" As Nezu said, "The evidence don't lie. And it's the only thing we have right now. So it's our best bet." Eventually, Eraserhead just grabs Midoriya and the other teachers of UA, make a way for him to leave the school after the bell rings and everyone goes into their classes. As they do, everyone goes into their classes, and except for one person who was watching Midoriya closely, and then he saw it out of the corner of his eye, Midoriya being taken away. Bakugo saw Midoriya being taken away, and so he immediately jumps to ask Aizawa about it. As immediately Aizawa seeing Bakugo said, "Katsuki Bakugo, go to your class." As he said, "What are you doing with him?" As he said, "I'll explain everything later. For now, you return to your class. It's none of your business. This is official hero work." As immediately Bakugo said, "I want," as Aizawa immediately looks at him with red eyes, saying, "This is not the time, Bakugo. Back to your class." And so Bakugo just settles down and turns around and watches over his shoulder as they take Midoriya away. Eventually, after a while, Midoriya wakes up in a white room with guns pointed at him, strapped into a chair. And it's just terrifying as Midoriya just saying, "Hi, where am I? Hello?" As then, immediately, Eraserheads enter the room, saying, "You're finally awake. That's good to know." As Midoriya said, "Eraserhead? What's going on? Where am I?" As he said, "Tartarus, as for why you're here, is because we have evidence that you're, at least cooperating with a villain." As Midoriya said, "What? I would never cooperate with a villain. What are you talking about?" As Aizawa said, "Really? Then tell me what the hell is this?" As he sits in front of Midoriya holding a phone, and Midoriya watches inside the phone. A recording of UA's server rooms. Back in the middle of the night, they see as Midoriya enters the server room and hacks their system before, Houndoom appears and teleports him away. Not to mention him giving a little smirk to the camera. As immediately Midoriya said, his heart stops. That's not me. There's no way that's me. As Aizawa said, "Your fingerprints don't lie. We found them." As Midoriya said, "What? It just doesn't make sense. I was asleep. As Eraserhead said, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Now, please, tell me what the hell is going on. And what's Hawkmoth's plan and where he is right now." As Midoriya said, "But I know nothing. Please believe me." As Aizawa said, "So the hard way you choose, huh? Very well. It's all yours, Ladybug." As Aizawa leaves the room, and then Marinette enters the room as she sees Midoriya. Midoriya, this kid. It makes sense now. This kid who was friends with her daughter. She knows because Emily talked about him before and she's seen him with Emily. No wonder. It all makes sense. Of course he's with Hawkmoth. Hawkmoth probably planned somebody in UA to get all those informations about her daughter, about the heroes, and that's why he managed to attack the sport festival and the USJ. It was all planned from the start, and it just infuriates her to know that her daughter's friend was nothing more than a lie and a cheap freaking traitor. As she grabs him by his shirt, saying, "You have two choices here, kid. You either tell me what I want to know, or I'll strip it straight out of your mind." As Midoriya is just terrified. I don't know anything. As Ladybug said, "So the hard way you choose, huh?" As well, she takes out her yo-yo and presses on one of the buttons on it. And then, giving herself the power to read minds, she puts her hands on Midoriya's mind. As Midoriya starts feeling his brain being sabotaged. His eyes roll back and his mouth starts drooling as he's feeling a static shock through his entire body as he goes numb, while Ladybug just looking into his mind. She looks his mind yesterday. He was asleep. Well, maybe the day before it? No, nothing, just a normal school day. And maybe before that. Still nothing. As she just can't understand why. She goes even further back. She goes further back. And she sees a kid being bullied. And then she goes forward and she sees a kid on the top of a building being told that his dream is nothing but his own hero. She goes a bit more forward and she sees a kid who tried to save somebody, even though he was quirkless, still being treated like the idiot who made everything harder for the heroes, even by his own hero. As then, after a while, she stopped. She can't understand what the meaning of this. He's obviously with Hawkmoth, or he is Hawkmoth, one of the two. as immediately Ladybug started panicking. She said, "No way. You you hid it some way. You you how did you do it?" As she starts yelling at him. While Midoriya finally gets his brain back, it feels odd and he's still a little staticky. While she said, by grabbing into his shirt, she lifted him up, saying, "Where is it? Where is Hawkmoth? Where is his new hideout? Who is Hawkmoth? You know something. I know you know something, so just say it. Say it." As Midoriya looks into her, she's so angry, and in his fear, he starts crying. He can't take it anymore. The tears start running down his eyes, and Ladybug, watching this kid cry, she then lets go of him and looks at her hands. Maybe she was too hard. She looks at him and just walks out of the room, as leaving Midoriya to cry to himself there outside of the room. Principal Nezu, All Might, and Eraserhead, not to mention the Warden of Tartarus, all stand there as she explains to them what happened. And Aizawa said, "What do you mean you didn't find anything?" Miss Midas, she said, "We must have made a mistake. There is nothing in his head related to Hawkmoth." But then she gives a glance into All Might. She's seen into that kid's head. She's seen what he's been through. And she's seen who caused it. It's a miracle. But something is off. She can't shake the feeling that there's something off. And even All Might doesn't know why she looks at him like this. But this kid, he seemed to know him from somewhere. He can't shake the feeling that he knows the kid. Regardless, as they're talking, unaware of what's going on outside of Tartarus, somebody in an airplane, a hidden jet, gets closer, and eventually he throws an AMP shock that causes the entire prison to go into the backup power generator as the red lights turn on, and Ladybug saying, "What's going on?" As inside the room where Midoriya is, suddenly from his shadow, a black butterfly comes out, and it reaches and akumatizes his thigh. As Midoriya's eyes go purple, a mask appears in front of his face. At the same time, Houndoom appears and jumps through the wall, out of Midoriya's sight and out of everybody's sight. But when Ladybug looks back into the cell where Midoriya is, she looks at the black fog, and oh no, she immediately tried to jump into deakumatize him quickly, but when the black fog all dissipates, the only thing was left is a wildfire that consumes everything inside of the cell and burned down the walls. As Ladybug was focusing on saving everybody, she creates a barrier using the turtle. As while that's going on the other side, Houndoom is right now running down the hallways of Tartarus with the help of none other than good old pal Igor. As Igor is just running down the halls with Houndoom, and they look at the cells one after the other until they find Domino's cell. As immediately Igor rips the door open with the help of Houndoom, and they find her inside. She immediately looks at them and she said, "Oh, hey boys." As Igor said, "Lady Domino, good to see that you're still in a good shape." As she said, "Well, beside the horrible food here, I could say I am done having a vacation." As he said, "Well, that's reassuring. Please, go through the shadow." As she said, "All right, well, what are we gonna do now?" As he said, "Well, we have another pet stop we need to go by." As Igor continued moving forward, after Domino was teleported out of there, him and Houndoom continue. There is one more, prisoner or inmate that they want to get out of there. And find the cell of that inmate they did. They bring him out and tell him to go through the portal as well. I mean, it's better than staying here, isn't it? And they do that before Igor teleports through the shadow as well, leaving only Houndoom there that sneaks back into the shadow. Of course, they had a few run-ins with some guards, and they did put them out of commission, but not kill them. Eventually back with Ladybug in the room, finally after the electricity goes back on. The fire still goes wild and it's burning bright. But as the fire keeps going, suddenly a shadow under Midoriya appears and teleports him out of there. While Ladybug stops with the shield, she said, "Where did he go?" As immediately good old Aizawa said, "Was this all planned?" As Marinette doesn't have time to think of this, she immediately teleports out and just starts looking left and right from the top of Tartarus, wondering where could he have possibly been. As she goes back in, and she said, "Damn it, where should I go?" It's immediately press good old Principal Nezu. First idea was to bring him back into UA. And that's what Ladybug did. She brought them all back through a portal to UA. Well, it's a good thing she did, because right now it seems that wherever this kid was teleported, he was teleported closer into UA. But right now, with all that being happening on the outside, inside of UA, with Class 1A, they're having a little lecture with Midnight on mathematical equations and some things like that. Bakugo is focusing, like usual. He can't afford to have his grade drop, but it's a little difficult. Though he looks out of the window for a second, and in that split second, somebody breaks through the wall of the window and immediately slam with a hot fire burning like hell as he calls the name Katseki! As Bakugo looks to see Midoriya in the Spiromaniac wear a mask covering his mouth, an outfit that seems straight out of a asylum, and a burning flames right around of him that's refusing to be put out. It's time for your retribution. And this is gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to tell me down in the comments what do you think about this part, and what do you think will gonna happen in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say than Severed was here.